Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 7. We will present the results of leverage analysis, valuation, and management evaluation in the telecommunication sector. Before we start, let us introduce ourselves first. I am Aurata Sofia, and my friends.
I am Nazila Nazifah.
My name Nadira Salma.
Sania Indonesia.
Okay, so why we choose telecommunication infrastructure sector? Because Indonesia has a growing telecommunication infrastructure, and because they have various telecommunication operators such as Telkomsel, Smartfren, Indosat, and Batowindo, and they provide mobile phone, messages, and internet data services. And also, mobile and fixed telephone networks are spread throughout the region, including remote areas, and they are doing 4G technology and slowly moving towards 5G have been introduced to improve the quality and speed of internet access. Okay, so the first company is Bali Towerindo Sentra, or with the IDX code Bali, or often referred to as Bali Tower. So the following is the financial report of Bali Tower in 2022 and 2023, where the revenue is can be obtained from business income and variable cost from cost of revenues, fixed cost from operating expenses, earning before interest and tax from operating profit, earning before tax from profit before corporate income tax, and net income from profit for the year. So then from the financial report, here's an analysis of Bali Tower's three leverage ratios in 2022. So the first company degree operating leverage is 1.15. The second degree of financial leverage is recorded at 2.04. And the last is degree of combined leverage is 2.35. So on this slide, we can see the financial projections of Bali Towerindo Sentra or Bali for 2023 compared to its actual realizations. First, based on the growth rate calculation from 2021 to 2022, sales growth reached 30.3%, variable cost increased by 4.061%, EBIT increased by 0.74%, and EBIT, earning before tax, increased by 10%. So using this growth rate, the forecast for 2023 estimates sales of 1 trillion, variable cost of 39 billion, EBIT of 80 billion, and EBITDA of 2060 billion. However, the financial realizations in 2023 showed a lower figure and then the forecast, where sales were recorded at 90.55 million and variable costs at 40.26 million and earning before interest tax at 40.38 million, and last is earning before tax at 168 million. When compared to 2022, there was a decrease in sales of 2.42%, variable cost decreased by 1.31%, EBIT decreased by 10.7%, and earnings before tax decreased by 28.84%. In addition, net earnings per share also decreased from 53.9 per share in 2022 to 38.25 per share in 2023. So this data shows that the company's financial performance in 2023 did not reach the forecast target and experienced a decline compared to the previous year, both in terms of revenues, operating profits, and net earnings per share. So on this slide, we can see the leverage analysis of Balai Tower Indo Centra for 2023. First, the company DOL in 2023 is 1.20, and second, DFL is recorded in 2016, and the last, this DCL at 3.14. Overall, these three ratios indicate that the company has a fairly high level of leverage. Normal leverage is 1 or above 1, but fairly high leverage also shows that small change in sales can have a significant impact on profit before tax. This also reflects the level of operational and financial risks that needs to be managed properly by the company's management. And also, this is the conclusions. On the side, there's leverage affirmations news from Fitch Ratings and financial leverage analysis of Balai Tower Indo Centra in 2022 and 2023. So, these are three main ratios analyzed. DOL is increased from 1.50 in 2022 and to 1.22 in 2023. So this shows that dependence on fixed operating costs has increased from 73 million in 2022 to 91 million in 2023. This caused EBIT to decrease by 10% and is higher than the decrease in sales or revenue of only 2%. So that the decrease in slide has a greater impact on operating profit. And for the DVL, increase from 2.04 to 2016. This means that the company's financial burden has increased, so the small change in operating profit have a greater impact on pre-tax profit. And last, for degree of combined leverage, increase from 2.035 to 3.40. This means that the total risk, both operational and financial, is increasing, so that small change in sales will have a large impact on pre-tax profit. So the conclusions based on the results of the analysis, this shows that the increase in leverage is not a positive signal, especially financial performance shows a decline at once. The company has a burden on the company's cost structure, and in fixed costs, this increased the company's business and financial risks. Although based on this news, Fitch still gives an A- rating, meaning it has a stable outlook. This means that Balai Tower is still able to manage its debt well and is still in fairly stable financial condition. However, this condition needs to be watched out for because it can worsen financial performance if the decline in revenue continues to occur. And the next is stock valuation analysis result. So we discussed the stock valuations using the price to earning ratio or PER for 2025 stock valuations. PER is calculated by dividing the stock price by the earnings per share. Based on this data, Balai stock price is 1,020.45 per share, and the EPS for 2025 is 36.71. So Balai PER for 2025 is 33.91. With a PER of 30.91, Balai stock is considered to have a fairly high valuation or overvalued. This could be a signal that the market considers for the company's growth prospects to be quite good, or conversely, the stock price has exceeded its fair value, so that investors need to be wary. So the next is management evaluation of Balai Tower. The first one is management background. Balai Tower Indo Centra was established in 2006, Bally is a provider of telecommunications tower infrastructure. The company is led by a professional management team that has consistent educational background and a long experience in both telecommunications and infrastructure. Bally's management organization is structured with a clear division of tasks and responsibilities. And second, legal track record of Bally Tower. In 2023, Bally was reported for alleged violation of Article 360 of the Criminal Code concerning causing injury to another person where he was entangled in fiber optic cable belonging to Bally Tower. Also, Bally denied it. The victim's family continued to demand the person responsible. The accident occurred due to a single accident because it was not due to neglect of the company, which always routinely carried out periodic maintenance to ensure that the cable height was in normal condition and did not interface with traffic. And in addition, no significant legal issues were found related to Bally Tower. The company operates in accordance with regulations and has received approval from the Indonesian Ministry of Law and Human Rights since its established. And third, there is share ownership. Currently, the largest shareholder is Karisma Cipta Torindo, with ownership of 2 billion shares, or equivalent to paid up capital of 46 billion rupiah. Furthermore, shares owned by the public, each below 50%, amount to 1 billion shares with a total paid up capital of 31 billion rupiah. In addition, there's also ownership in the name of Robi Hermanto of 50,000 shares with paid up capital of 1 million rupiah, which in percentage terms is very small of 0%. And fourth, there is information transparency. Bally provides information such as financial reports, annual reports, sustainability reports, prospectus, and other important documents on its official website openly. The company is also proactively involved in providing information transparency to the public and supervisor. For example, on the latest private share placement plan. And the last, there is corporate action. The latest corporate actions of Bally Tower include plans to conduct a private placement or increase capital without providing preemptive rights, which was decided at the EGMS scheduled for April 25, 2026. So that's it for me. Next for
Okay, my name is Nadira, and this slide introduces the analysis of financial leverage at Indosat company, focusing on operational, financial, combined leverage, along with valuation and management evaluation. And next. Next. Okay, for the second slide, this is begun with the key financial data for 2022, and okay, for leverage in 2022, degree of operation leverage is 1.8, and degree of financial leverage is 1.62, and degree of combined leverage is 2.91, and this ratio reflect the sensitivity of earning before interest tax and earning before tax to change in sales, indicate the company cost structure and financial risk exposure. Next. And here's the growth rate, and revenue grow 48,894 from 2021 to 2022, while variable cost rise by 93% using the growth rates. 2023 projection were made to estimate future performance based on past trends. And for the comparison, for 2022 and 2023, sales increased by 90.57%, and for variable cost increased 1.11%, and earning before interest tax decrease is 1.54%, and earning before tax decreased 99.25%. Next. And here's the actual financial performance for 2023. The 2023 actual show revenue increase is for degree of leverage is 2.25, and for DCL is 3.96, and the next is DFL is 1.57. Next. Okay, and for the leverage, and here's for the news, and for the leverage is DOL increase from 1.80 to 2.25, indicating as increase in the sensitivity of earning before interest tax to change in sales, which reflect in higher and fixed cost structure. And for DFL, decrease from 1.62 to 1.57, indicating in relatively lower use of debt in relation to earning before interest tax. And for DCL, increase from 2.91 to 3.96, indicating in rise in total risk due to a combination in higher fixed costs and financial leverage. And for the leverage summary, Indosat has experience in increase and operational and combined leverage, suggesting higher total risk. Although financial leverage improved slightly, this highlights the need for stronger and efficiency and financial strategies to maintain corporate stability. Next. And here's for stock valuation. With an EPS of 152.67, a share price of 2,120, the company PR stands at 30.88. This reflects as mid-range valuation, neither overpriced nor underpriced, making it attractive to investors seeking stability with growth potential. Next. And here's for management background from Indosat. First, management background. Indosat company is led by CEO Vikram Sinha, managed by a professional team. After 2022 merger with Hutchison 3 Indonesia, management focused on operational efficiency, digital transformation, and service quality enhancement to strengthen market position. And the second is legal track record. The company faced legal challenge in the past, such as the 2021 dissolution of its subsidiary EM2 due to illegal frequency used to Tesmas Holding cross-ownership case in 2007 involving Telkomsel, which violated competition regulation. And the third, next, is information transparency, is for ownership PSP share. This slide highlights the ownership structure of the company, particularly to controlling shareholder PSP, who play a crucial role in strategic decision making. Though detailed figures are not specified in this slide. And for information transparency is Indosat commits to transparency by providing comprehensive financial report, ownership structure, and company policy in official website. In compliance with OJK and IDX regulation is a part of good corporate governance practice. And for the last is corporate action. Is recent corporate action include by one stock split October 2024 to enhance liquidity and retail investor, which as well as a planned divestment of minority shares in the fiber optic unit to attract strategic global partner despite it drop its revenue to 30.57 trillion net profit in Q1 and 2025 reached 1.31 trillion. The annual general meetings is scheduled by May 28, 2025 to discuss forward-looking strategy. And here's for the last. Thank you.
Terus ini keluar aja ya? Bikin baru.
Iya.
Okay, this is the following for the financial report of PT Daya Mitra Telekomunikasi for the years 2022 and 2023. Next. Okay, these are the leverage calculation result for 2022. DOL is 1.16, DFL is 1.60, and DCL is 1.86. Next. After the forecast calculation were made, comparison between 2022 and 2023 shows an increase in sales of 11.20%. Variable cost increased by 9.45%. EBIT rose by 15.41%, and EBITDA increased by 9.10%. The calculated EPS for 2022 is 21 rupiah per share, and for the 2023 it is 24 rupiah. Next. This slide shows the leverage calculation for 2023 with a DOL of 1.16, DFL of 1.70, and DCL of 1.97. Next. For the leverage result, DOL remains at 1.16, indicating a consistent operational cost. Its cost structure. DFL increased from 1.86 to 1.97, suggesting a rise in debt finance funding. DCL increased from 1.60 to 1.70, indicating a higher total risk due to increased financial leverage. The conclusion is Mitratel shows an aggressive growth profile marked by tower and fiber expansion and readiness to meet 5G demands. Although the company utilises financial leverage to fund its growth, it continues to maintain operational efficiency and measure risk management. Next. Conclusion of stock valuation 2025 is with a PER of 25.58. The valuation is considered relatively high. This indicates that the company's stock might currently be overvalued. It suggests that the market perceives the company's future growth prospect to be quite strong. However, investors should also be more cautious, and as the stock price may reflect overly optimistic expectation about future performance that might not necessarily be realized. Next. Okay, management evaluation obtained from various search includes the following aspect. The first, management background. Mitratel is a subsidiary of Telkom that has focused on telecommunication tower infrastructure since 2008, with over 36,000 towers across Indonesia. The second is legal track record. There have been some cases related to tower construction permit violation, but these have had no significant impact on the company operation. The third, PSP share ownership. The majority of share, 71.84%, are owned by Telkom Indonesia, with the remainder held by the public and other institutions, reflecting strong support from the parent company. The fourth, information transparency. Mitratel demonstrate a commitment to transparency through audit, financial statements, regular publication, and adherence to good corporate governance principle. And the last, corporate action. The company actively expand its infrastructure through fiber network acquisitions, as well as issuing bonds to support digital expansion. Thank you.
Okay, the next one is Smartfren Telkom. And then Smartfren is a telecommunication company in Indonesia. It provides internet, phone, and data service in recent years. It has merged with XL Axiata, and this change made things in the company's financial situation. In 2022, Smartfren had sales about 11.2 trillion rupiah, variable cost of 5 trillion, and fixed cost of 5.5 trillion. The earning before tax was 623 billion, and net income was around 1.6 trillion. In and next next and the, in 2023, sales increased, but EBIT and earning before tax dropped a lot. This meant the company had more expense or lower efficiency. Okay, next. Degree of operating leverage tell us how sensitive earning before interest and tax is to change in sales. In 2022, DOL was 9.8 and 6, and in 2023, it increased to 11.5. This means Smartfren has high fixed costs, so small increase in sales can give a big increase, but the risk is high too. Degree of financial leverage show how debt affect profit. It went from 0.5 in 2022 to 6.3 in 2023. This means smartphone had more debt or interest cost in 2023, which makes the company more risky. Degree of combined leverage is the total risk from both operating the financial leverage. It went from 5.7 in 2022 to very high 3.5 in 2023. This is very dangerous because even a small drop in sales could cause a big loss. And stock valuation. Because smartphone had a negative earning in 2024, we cannot use price earning ratio, so we use price to book value. Smartphone's price to book value is 1.7, lower than the industry average, which is nominal. The nominal is 1. This means the stock may still be cheap and has a chance to go up if the company improves. And next, evaluation management. Smartphone is smartphone management by experienced people like Darmin Nasution and Mejo Fahis. The company merged with XL Axiata in 2025 and its stock was delisted from IDX. Some concern were raised about transparency during the merger, but they still followed the rules. So, in a summary, smartphone has a high leverage, especially in 2023. High DOL and DFL mean the company is very sensitive to changes. It has potential to grow, but it also carries high financial risk. The merger may help the company improve in the future. Thank you.
Okay, and here's the financial performance analysis conclusion. And from the result of the analysis, it can be concluded that in general, the telecommunication sector experienced performance pressure throughout 2023, although several companies recorded sales growth. The decline in profitability in most companies indicate operational challenge, efficiency, and perhaps also pressure from competition and rapid technological change. And however, the success of Daya Mitra Company Telekomunikasi in recording positive growth in all important indicators show that there is still room to grow in the sector as long as the company is able to manage costs efficiently and to adapt to market dynamic. This company in telecommunication sector need to strengthen operational efficiency and innovation strategies in order to remain competitive while maintaining profitability and providing added value to shareholders. And next is conclusion telecommunication sector 2022 and 2023 leverage analysis conclusion of the 4 companies analyzed 3 experience a decrease in leverage indicating a tendency to reduce reliance on debt. In contrast, Daya Mitra Telekomunikasi Company experienced an increase in leverage, which may reflect an expansion strategy. Overall, there is a trend of strengthening the financial structure, although each company implement a different strategy. And for the valuation analysis conclusion, in terms of stock valuation, Daya Mitra Telekomunikasi Company and Bali Towerindo Sentra Company are categories is company with overvalued stock valuation, indicating that their stock price are higher than their intrinsic value. This show that high market confidence is not fully supported by financial performance, especially in this case, Bali Towering the company. On the other hand, the share of Indosat and Smartfren company are considered undervalued, providing opportunities for investors if the company are able to improve their performance in the future. Overall, although this sector is facing challenge, there is potential for growth and investment opportunities for companies that maintain, improve their efficiency and profitability. Okay, and thank you.